Guerrero's right about the shoe. The shoe was not the same in the picture shown in court as the shoe pulled from the evidence bag by Trooper Bukake.
And you mentioned you're at the hospital. There was a sneaker. One.
Yes.
Bukake! Bukake!
Woo! Good afternoon, my friends. Happy Friday to all of you. I hope everyone is doing well and having a great day. It is hot as the devil's anus here in Tennessee today. And it's cloudy too. Like it's kind of sunny, but it's like whatever. But what's up, Ray? It's good to see you, homie. Now, I didn't say homie because Ray's black. I just want to be very clear about that. I'm busting Baker's balls, bro. But I was watching Baker earlier. I fucking love Baker, dude. I'm gonna be hanging out with Baker tonight. I'm stoked. Be hanging out with Broken Baker. Be hanging out with the expert. I'm gonna be hanging out with Valhalla Awaits. And all of those wonderful people who traveled from all over to come hang out with them. So tonight we're gonna. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I don't like. There's some venue thing going on. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what to expect of it. I'm just gonna show up and say hello to whoever's there. And hang out with whoever I can hang out with. So Yeah, man. I'm excited about that. A lot of drama though, bro. A lot of drama though. But listen. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't really know all the details. But I'm going to say it. I am applying my full endorsement to Team Broken Baker, bro. I'm full on Team Broken Baker, bro. Y'all can kiss my ass. Anybody who has a problem, kiss my peen. Okay? My peen is not your product, is what Baker said today. My peen is not your product. I support this 150%. Okay? I am Team Baker all the way. Holy shit. Liz88 gifted a membership, people. And OnlyFan gave or has been a member for 9 months. Woo! The Goodmans member for 20 months. I was going to watch and said, I'll wait for Will. Right on. Paranoia member for 10 months. Let's go, Galera. All right. Okay, but Rackets did not invent the word peen. Stop it. Okay, it's a very common New Hampshire woman, member for 19 months, consensual. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Like, how do you okay, dude, like, listen. Again, I don't really give a whole lot of fucks about the politics that take place in the community or whatnot. I'm going to be honest with you. Thank you, Petty. Pretty fly for a Wi-Fi. That's clever. I don't know if it's handle of the day clever, but it's clever. Nicola Maxwell. Oh, Team Baker, I'm listening, but hi, y'all. Yeah, man. I mean, look. Like, Baker's been part of this community for like a long time, and he's always been solid. And then now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Out of what? Based on what? Where's the big bombshell where Baker is a deviant, or where I'm waiting to see that. Okay. Java Julene, Team Baker all the way. Cosmic Blue, member for 23 months. Wow, nearly 2 years with Will. Love it here. Yes, man, it's wild. That's awesome. Thank you, Cosmic Baker. You need to talk to me or TB. That's probably not going to happen. But best of luck to you. If you break through all the security, then maybe you'll gain audience. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about it either. But I don't like the fact that I don't like that Baker is being fucking shit on, dude. I just I like Baker a lot, man. I always have, you got to understand, there are things I like about channels, and then there's things about channels that I don't like. and I mean how, you can tell what intentions are. But for the time being, I'll stick with the positive. And Baker, and I want to be very clear. I could point out the negatives of someone else, but I'm not going to do that. I want to be clear that I'm going to focus on Baker because I have nothing but positive things to say. And the way that Baker has always ran his channel, even during all the Karen Reed stuff, he has just been a guy with an opinion who has just been staying in his own lane and covering it and just being grateful for whatever audience that he can acquire based on the time difference from Denmark. and he's just been, you know, he's been great. Like he's been great this whole time. Like I don't get what the whole, you know, and this person that he has drama with or whatever, she's super chatted me quite a bit. But that doesn't mean anything to me as far as like using it for currency, as far as like gaining credibility or using it to manipulate a community. I think we already all know how we feel about that. So you know, it's going to take more than you know, big super chats, you know, for certain, for a handful of us to compromise our integrity or principles. And Christy Marshall, thank you. Baker keeps me company when I cannot sleep. Right. I mean, Baker's there for the insomniacs, man, you know, and he's happy for it. Like I hung out with this dude night before last, and the people who in this community who are like his ride or die friends, dude, like I've been around, I've had ride or die friends, I have ride or die friends, and I watched him hang out with the expert, with Valhalla, and all of those people that are in that orbit, and they're great. They all really, really care about each other. They all really respect each other. So many of them look forward to this every year. And it's such a big deal for them, you know, and they're all, like I said, they're all like, it's a really tight little group, and it's a bunch of people who don't really care if their channels blow up. You know, they're just they're grateful for the little community that they've created for themselves, and just like any other, like myself, I'm grateful for the community that I have. The more the merrier, but I'm not going to compromise myself, or I'm not going to, you know, start jumping on the norm bandwagons just because I think it's going to get me more subscribers. And this group of people are there's very much that vibe. They're just happy with what they like to do, what they like to talk about, and they support each other. And to me, that's really the coolest thing about YouTube communities. When you have a community that's like that, you got something really good. And hanging out with them the other night, I really got a feel for that from them, and it's really great. I mean, think about that. All these people traveled from all different parts of the country to hang out with Baker. Like there was a good amount of people there, dude, at this Tennessee Tap House place the other night. There was a good amount of people, and these people came out to see Baker. I don't have people coming out from all over the fucking place to come see me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a yearly event where a bunch of my supporters meet up with me and we go to an amusement park and we make a 3-day weekend event situation out of it in the summer, every summer. I don't have anybody like I don't have that. You know, there's a reason why. Yeah, I probably would hate that weird girl. But there's a reason why, you know, Baker can have that. That Baker has that. And it's because people see his integrity and they see he's a good guy, and they see I mean, I think he's been in this community long enough to where we can all say that he's shown nothing but solidarity. You know, he's been nothing but sincere. He's been a blast. He's been fun, you know. So yeah, man, I'm Team Baker all the way, bro. So Karen Reed went on Either it was Good Morning America or the Today Show, or they're connected and she went on both, or I don't even know how that works. But we're gonna go over it in just a second. Let me go over this real quick.
Yet another twist in the Karen Reed case tonight. Reed filed a lawsuit.
Wait. Gerda K gifted a membership. And Captain Skidmark says, as a Norwegian, I consider Baker my slow cousin. He's family. And Gerda K gifted a membership. Thank you, Captain Skidmarks, and thank you, Gerda K. Yeah, so Baker went on a valid truth journey today, bro. That was fun. All right, so moving on to the Karen Reed stuff.
This morning against Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department. She claims a culture of bias and corruption led her to being charged with the murder of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in 2022. A jury found her not guilty in a retrial last summer. Now, this new civil suit, it specifically cites thousands of racist, sexist, and bigoted text messages between fired state trooper Michael Proctor and now former Canton Police Sergeant Sean Good. Reed argues those materials show both men were not fit to be involved in the investigation into O'Keefe's death. Local leaders, including Governor Maura Healey, are now reacting to these vulgar texts and voicemails.
He did not represent the Massachusetts State Police. What he did was outrageous.
In terms of the text messages, one of them names you by title.
Bro, listen, dude. I don't want to fucking hear from Maura Healey about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she sat there and defended the Massachusetts State Police Training Academy when the thing happened with Enrique Delgado Garcia. I mean, let's just get real. Like, Maura Healey is just pure politics, and just any way she can like take what everyone's talking about and make it work in her favor is what she's going to do.
Has a vulgar, insult that goes along with it.
I haven't seen that. What I do know is the way that he conducted himself, what was part of his the earlier release of the work phone stuff. I mean, again, he was canned. He was fired immediately.
Canned.
Mass State Police Colonel Jeffrey Noble released this statement earlier tonight saying these comments.
It's funny as that's her reaction. Like, that was her reaction. Like, it's going to be real interesting to hear, because here's the thing about Maura Healey. She doesn't know about any of this shit. She's not paying attention to it because she doesn't give a fuck. That's the reality of it, right? So it's going to be really fun when she's quoted in saying what she just said here, because I don't think she knows that this lawsuit is about the Massachusetts State Police necessarily. And why? Because of the culture that's in there. There's a rotted culture in the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department. And it goes all the way up to the governor's office, in my personal opinion. If it's going from Michael Morrissey, it's going somewhere further above him too. That's just my opinion. And she knows. She was the Attorney General. Yes, thank you. And she knows. So let's just get real here, because she's sitting here and going, oh, that doesn't represent the Massachusetts State Police. That doesn't represent Massachusetts State Police. Well, let's see how she feels when she knows that they let this guy resign. Is that on Sean Good, or is that on the Massachusetts State Police? That they gave him the option to resign 2 days before this lawsuit was actually filed, indicating that he got a heads up, that the Canton Police Department got a heads up from the Massachusetts State Police. So this is just fascinating to me. I want to hear her one more time, because this is a reaction. They're like, she didn't even know about it.
Vulgar,
He had to be involved in reacting to these vulgar texts and voicemails.
He did not represent the Massachusetts State Police. What he did was outrageous.
In terms of the text messages,
Then
one of
why-
them names you by title and has a
Then why did the Massachusetts State Police stick their neck out to help Sean Good? Why did they do that? He's not even a Massachusetts State Police trooper. And yet the Massachusetts State Police reached out to the Canton Police Department. At least we believe they did. How else would they have gotten the heads up? But the Massachusetts State Police, somebody representing them, reached out to the Canton Police Department to give Sean Good a heads up so that he could resign and not be fired.
vulgar, insult that goes along with it.
I haven't seen that. What I do know is the way that he conducted himself, what was part of his the earlier release of the work phone stuff. I mean, again, he was canned. He was fired immediately.
Now,
He wasn't, though. He wasn't fired immediately. He was given the option to resign because of a heads up from the Massachusetts State Police. Now, she might be referring to Proctor, but he wasn't fired immediately, was he? Because by saying if she's referring to Proctor and Proctor was fired immediately, well, then what you're saying is he was immediately fired following the racial slurs, but it's okay to treat a suspect and talk about a suspect that way. That's okay. Talking about a suspect, a murder suspect, in the very demeaning and vulgar ways that he referred to Karen Reed and talked about her via text message with his supervisor liking the comments, that's okay. Because he wasn't fired immediately when that became public, was he? So you're a liar, Maura Healey, right?
Mass State Police Colonel Jeffrey Noble released this statement earlier tonight saying these comments do not reflect their values and are not tolerated. Meanwhile, Proctor's lawyer released a statement saying that anything Proctor did or said in his personal life before O'Keefe's killing had no bearing on the Karen Reed investigation.
Bullshit.
Now, earlier tonight, we
That's a
dug
cop
deeper
out.
into these disturbing messages on Commonwealth Confidential.
Because they're having there's a completely different argument there. There's a completely different argument there. Michael Proctor's attorney are trying to say, oh, well, these have no bearing because they happened before the John O'Keefe investigation. That's not true, because the lawsuit completely states, it absolutely clearly states that the issue is the fact that this is who he is. A person with those kind of values has no business investigating the murder of anyone, much less a Boston police officer. Nobody who feels and thinks that way has any business. Now, they have the right as an American to feel and think however the fuck they want, but they do not have the right as a civil servant to feel and think that way, because they cannot be objective. And Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. So, as a civilian, he's perfectly within his rights to feel and think however he wants, to make whatever fucking comments, whatever nasty, disgusting fucking comments he wants. But he cannot do it as a police officer, as a sworn officer of the law. He cannot do that. And he was handpicked to do that investigation. These are the outside layers, folks, being peeled on the corruption in the Massachusetts State Police and possibly the entire state and Commonwealth of Massachusetts, all the way up to the governor's office. It absolutely could be those outside layers being peeled, definitely within the Massachusetts State Police. This is undeniable. There is something seriously wrong with the institution of the Massachusetts State Police if someone like Proctor was allowed to operate with a badge and conduct investigations.
Retired State Trooper Todd McGee and our courtroom insider Sue O'Connell both weighed in on all of today's developments.
God, here we go.
This was their culture. So the question becomes, how many other people knew that they were behaving this way, that this was their ethos, these were their...
Yeah, it's all good now. Sue O'Connell's real loud now that the fucking racism fucking siren has been fucking sounded. Now, before, you know, I mean, she didn't seem to really care much about what was going on as far as Karen Reed being belittled and being demeaned by a Massachusetts state trooper. One had nothing to do with the other, according to Karen Reed, or according to Sue O'Connell. But now Sue O'Connell's mad because now it's racism. Misogyny, that's okay. Racism, ooh, misogyny and racism, ooh, I don't know about that. Now it's the culture of the Massachusetts State Police. You don't get the flip-flop, Sue. The internet's forever. The internet is forever, Sue O'Connell.
Values, and this is how they would look at every single one of us at this table. If we called them, what text message would they have sent about each of us if they had to help us in a time of need?
It's indefensible conduct, and you can't put a mask on it. You can't hide it. There is no way, to Sue's point, there's no way that you could hide that.
Todd McGee's okay with me. I like Todd McGee.
Communication.
Now, our Karen Reed coverage, it continues online. We have a page up right now on NBCBoston.com with a closer look at the lawsuit that was filed this morning. But do not miss the Today Show tomorrow morning for an exclusive interview with Karen Reed herself. You can watch it only right here on NBC 10 Boston.
All right. I was watching the weirdest shit. The shit I watch on YouTube is just fucking wacky, bro. All right. So here's this.
We are going to sit down with Karen Reed and her attorneys in just a moment. But first, a closer look at this new lawsuit and a warning. Some of the language you are about to hear is disturbing and offensive.
She looks fine. Like, it was clearly just the lighting in that one picture that everybody was like picking apart. I posted about that. I'll go over that later, but she looks fine. She looks great.
Nearly 1 year after Karen Reed walked out of court a free woman, she's waging her own legal battle this morning against the police departments she says framed her for the murder of her boyfriend, police officer John O'Keefe.
You know what you did. You know what you've done.
The 46-year-old filing a scathing new civil suit against Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton, laying out a litany of racist messages her attorneys say were exchanged between the lead investigator on Reed's case, Michael Proctor, and former Canton Police Sergeant Sean Good.
Take your time. I saw was involved, so I wouldn't rush if you're working.
Jesus, dude.
Let them die.
Most of the messages unrelated to Reed.
Like, that was a voice message, for fuck's sake.
Their crude nature expose a culture of bias and corruption.
You are a filthy pig that you just do dirty things to.
Reed's history with Proctor and others in law enforcement stretching back years.
She's a whack job.
Her attorneys have long maintained, but have yet to prove, that O'Keefe was killed at a house party after a night of heavy drinking with fellow officers back in 2022, who then tried to cover it up by falsely accusing Reed of hitting O'Keefe with her SUV, leaving him to die in the snow.
This case should be over right now. Done. Because there was no collision.
A jury ultimately acquitted Reed last summer of second-degree murder after her first trial ended with a hung jury. Proctor, meanwhile, was fired for his misconduct, his lawyer dismissing the newly revealed messages from his personal life as having no bearing whatsoever on the investigation of Karen Reed. Sergeant Good also off the force, resigning this week after he was placed on leave for alleged misconduct. It's unclear if that leave was connected to Reed. But Massachusetts State Police call their messages, quote, abhorrent, adding in a statement they do not reflect the agency's values. Yet the allegations of police corruption at the heart of Reed's defense struck a chord for many of her supporters, who often gathered outside the courthouse, with many more following online.
Never in my entire life have I been more invested in a court case.
Even an auction
Who the
of
fuck
her
is that?
SUV attracting intense interest until it was sold. It all comes as the former financial analyst fends off other legal woes, including a wrongful death lawsuit brought by the O'Keefe family. But Karen Reed has vowed to keep fighting to vindicate her innocence.
There's more evidence and there's more of a story to tell.
Now, NBC News has reached out to Sean Good, but has not yet heard back. The town of Canton,
Get out of
meantime,
town.
says it refutes any broad stroke characterizations about the people who serve in that department. And joining us now is Karen Reed, along with her two attorneys, Alan Jackson and Charles Waters. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Karen, let's start with you, because we really haven't heard from you much and seen you really at all since the jury's not guilty verdict. First, just why file this lawsuit now? You already have one lawsuit in the queue. Why do this now?
This was always our plan, that I had to save my own life first. I can't do anything if I'm not free. And I had to fight for my freedom for years. And I knew as it unfolded, I was never going to be able to just forget that this happened to me, that I was wronged in this way. I couldn't just go back to life as it was. I have to continue fighting for justice. The acquittal is deserved, but the wrongs have not been completely righted. They've been happening along the way, but I always knew this was going to happen if I could get the help legally to do this.
Let's talk about that for a moment, Alan, because
All right, now, real quick. Karen Reed just explained that this was always the plan. I happen to know this for a fact because there was one time where I was sitting outside. Now, we all knew it because Karen would have civil attorneys attend her trial. So it was very, very obvious that there was something in the works. And I asked Bill Reed outside of the courtroom, inside the courthouse, outside of the courtroom one time. So what do you are you guys just looking forward to after, she's acquitted? Are you guys, and this is the first trial, by the way, this is, and I was like, after she's acquitted, do you want to just get back to your life and just, relax, try to just build and just try to enjoy the quiet finally? And he was like, well, these people, this is his response, almost verbatim. Well, these people have tried to destroy my family for the past 3 years. I mean, that was it. That's all he said. That's all I needed to know. They weren't just going to sit there and take the acquittal and go home. I asked Bill Reed this for a reason. For a reason. I had a purpose. There was a method to my madness. It wasn't because I was genuinely curious. It was because I wanted to hear what he was going to say. Because Nobody with the kind of tenacity that they have, that family, no family with the kind of tenacity that they have to get through those two trials the way that they did. And she's innocent. Are they going to just be like, okay, well, now we're going to just enjoy the quiet? No, they're going to make the people responsible for turning their lives upside down pay through the nose, as they should. Now, they have make no mistake that they have no obligation to the public to do this. This is their decision to make. This is however they choose to handle this is their right to handle it. But the very family that you've been cheering on this entire time, every time we watched a trial, that's the family you're seeing now. That tenacious, that steadfast, firm, faithful. That's going to be what drives this. They were on defense before, now they're on offense.
Again, as we just saw in Laura's story there, Sergeant Good's been fired.
Right.
Lieutenant Proctor fired. They're both gone.
Sergeant Good wasn't fired.
Have said that there was wrongdoing. They've admitted that. From a legal standpoint, what do you precisely want to see happen here that has not already happened?
Well, it's a civil case. So the remedy is the law speaks in dollars, but that's not what the ultimate goal is here. The ultimate goal is to ensure that we bring to the light the institutional biases, the institutional corruption that permeates the Massachusetts law enforcement system. That's what this lawsuit's going to do. Ultimately, what Karen wants, you cannot write on a check, which is exposure of the corruption that is the DNA of the Massachusetts State Police, of the Canton Police Department, which is evidenced by these two individuals in their text messages. They were in a position where they felt comfortable within their own family, the family of law enforcement, to send these vile text messages, to send these vile voicemails that are reflective of a deeper problem in the culture. That's what we want to expose.
But to be clear, we're seeking money.
At the end of the day, that's what the civil law requires. Yeah.
Charles, I want to bring you in here because you guys have always maintained she was framed, right? That's been your entire theory from the beginning here. But what evidence have you actually amassed over the past 4 years now? What evidence do you have to support that claim?
Well, I mean, I think that Alan, during the criminal cases, let the whole world see the evidence that she had. But I think first and foremost, you look at the injuries that John O'Keefe suffered, and that to me is the key. Those were injuries from the back of his head. He died from injuries to the back of his head, some ridged lead surface.
But you've had that for a while now, right?
But the question was what evidence is, and you start there. And when you start there and you realize that the medical examiner, for example, testified at the criminal trial that these injuries that he had were inconsistent with a car strike. So you start there and then you say, what else could have happened? And then you look at the house. And then you look at the people that were in the house. And there are ridged surfaces in the house. There are relationships that John O'Keefe had with people in that house that were difficult relationships. And there's a lot of evidence that we've uncovered and that we're going to still uncover in this civil case.
Karen, let me come back to you for a moment here, because since the two trials, like what has life been like for you? I know you lost your house, you lost your car.
One of the anti-morons fucking were on Twitter saying this was a lie. They clipped him saying this and said that there was nobody in the house who had issues with John O'Keefe. And we all know that that's just simply not true. I'm never going to shut up about this Higgy thing. I absolutely, totally 100% believe that Higgy is the reason why John O'Keefe was murdered. Now, and I think that he was the cause. Not necessarily. Now, again, I speculated loosely, but I don't have any reason. I still do not, other than the fact that everyone seems to be covering for Colin Albert, and he seems to, for some reason, decided to join the military right at wartime. After he filed a lawsuit and before he's supposed to be deposed. It just is consistent with all of the behavior that seems focused on protecting him and keeping him away. Other than that weird behavior that I've seen consistently for the last 2.5 years that I've been following the case, I don't suspect Colin Albert of anything necessarily. I don't know. Because I think the motive lies with Brian Higgins. I think that the video footage speaks for itself from the waterfall. So I'm basing my opinions on what seems to be clear evidence. So now to say that nobody in that house had issues with John O'Keefe, that's a fucking lie, because we know Brian Higgins had issues with John O'Keefe. We know this for a fact. How do we know this for a fact? Because Brian Higgins was trying to bang Karen Reed. Now, I don't think he was the whole time, but I think that was his motivation that night. I think his motivation that night was very alcohol fueled. And I think his motivation that night was because Brian Albert put him on the spot after he confided in Brian Albert about everything that happened with Karen Reed over the last couple of weeks. That's what I believe happened. And then he was like, oh, I got to be a big man and I'm going to take my girl. And here's John O'Keefe dancing a jig by the bar going, I don't know what the fuck all this is about, but all these fucking people are crazy and I don't even give a fuck, man. I'm having a good time. That's what I think was going on with John O'Keefe until he was heading over there, because I think he knew he was heading over there for some sort of altercation, some sort of, whether it be verbal, some sort of confrontation, I should say, not necessarily an altercation, but a confrontation. I think he absolutely went over there knowing that that was a very, very strong possibility, if not a likelihood. Bukkake, Dix, what the hell? I don't know what that is. Turtle Boy was right. Remember for 13 months? Yes, Turtle Boy was right. Turtle Boy was right. Yeah, Maura knows. She doesn't give a fuck.
Are you working right now?
No, I'm not working. I still don't have my license, and I'm back working on the case. And, you know, we've brought in civil lawyers, but this case is so comprehensive that we need all hands on deck. I mean, I'm working on the case every day, and I don't know that I really ever took time off, and I don't know that I felt like I wanted to take time off. I want this to be over, but it's not done yet.
I want to, because we saw the throngs of supporters who would show up at that courthouse who clearly believed, just as the jurors did. But you have to know that when you walk down the street, there are lots of people who look at Karen Reed and who think, oh, there's that woman that got away with killing her ex-boyfriend who was a cop. How do you go through life knowing that there are lots of people who, despite what the
Well, I don't know who this jackass is, but he's clearly either misinformed or just absolutely clueless, because right now, Karen, if I had to guess, the look on her face is looking at this guy thinking, well, actually, dickhead, when I walk down the street and I'm recognized, I get cheered. I get support. I get people going, way to go, Karen. I get people who say, hey, you took on a fucking entire local government and you kicked their fucking ass. Way to go. We will. We will, Peranoja. We will.
He said, still think you did it and you got away with it.
I've not had any evidence that there's lots of people who.
Boom! There it is. I hadn't even watched this. This is a reaction, folks. I called it right there. Karen Reed is looking at him like, yo, I don't even fucking. I fucking read her mind by looking at her fucking face. Like, yo, who the fuck? What are you talking about, bro? Nobody fucking stops me on the street and, bro, says you got away with murder, bro. Like, nobody does that. What are you talking about? Like, people fucking love me.
Feel that way. I mean, I have lived more low key in the last year. I've just struggled to not have the adrenaline that I had during trial. But I have no interactions, no matter where I go. The grocery store, a restaurant, Newbury Street in Boston, any hotel or restaurant I eat at. I don't pay for meals. I get discounts everywhere. My parents get help taking groceries. I don't have interactions. I have not seen lots of people. I haven't seen one. The support isn't relegated to what you saw at the courthouse. It's throughout Massachusetts, and it's
bro.
So you've never heard from one person who?
Not one. Well, there were.
Have you been on the internet? I mean, have you looked at any of the?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen tweets. I have not interacted with anyone, and yes, there were people.
Bro, you're talking about the internet now. Like, this guy's trying to save face. Like, yeah, nobody does that, bro. What about the internet? Yeah, because you got a bunch of fucking trolls who just want to say negative shit just because they want to be negative shitbags. Like, get real. Like, half of those fucking trolls, if they saw Karen Reed walking down the street, they'd want to take a picture with her and be like, oh my God, Karen Reed, I can't believe it's her. Half of the trolls who sit there and talk shit about her would kiss her ass if they saw her in person. That's a fact.
There were pink shirts, and there was maybe for every 50 pink shirts, there was someone in a blue shirt who had many of them ties to people on the other side of this case.
John, let's talk about John for a second, Karen, because you dated for 2 years. You got so close with his family, his nieces, his nephews. You went on vacation together, right? This is somebody that you loved. And yet I think for a lot of people, somehow he gets lost sometimes in this conversation.
Well, he's...
You know who would have... Because that's another cop-out fucking question. That's another bullshit cop-out question. Yeah, I fucking said it. Fuck you. That's a bullshit cop-out question. What about with when, don't you think that John has been lost in all of this? No, John hasn't been lost in all of this. What the fuck do you think she's doing right now? What do you think fucking Aiden's fucking doing right now? All of this is prelude, hopefully, to getting John O'Keefe justice. Because unless we're all doing what the fuck we're doing, John O'Keefe is never going to get justice. Unless Karen Reed continues to do what the fuck she's doing, John O'Keefe is never going to get justice. Unless Aiden Carney continues to do what the fuck he's doing, John O'Keefe is never going to get justice. That's a fact. So... John O'Keefe has been lost and all that. No, motherfucker. We have all been doing everything we can to make sure that John O'Keefe still gets justice. All of us in our whatever little fucking tools we might have to bring to the table is all in hopes to get John O'Keefe justice. And we root out those motherfuckers who are in this for any other fucking reason. We chew them up and we spit them right the fuck out. That's what my petty streams are all about. You think they're just about picking on people? It's about fucking thinning the herd. Getting the infected out. We're all here trying to get shit done. Most of us. We don't want those who aren't around. Donkey's Noggin, member for 10 months. Preach it, say it louder, please. Thank you, Donkey's Noggin. Appreciate it.
not lost. He's the reason we're doing this.
I think I think people sometimes wonder, are you doing this for John, or are we trying to go after institutional corruption? Are we trying to get you money damages? Are
you fucking kidding? What the fuck is your
John
that is the
was
stupidest
victim
question.
of this institutional corruption, and we're the voice for John. And I have lived nearly daily John's final moments. And
thank you, Peaches.
What happened to him? What was on his phone? What was the temperature of his phone? What was his interactions that I had experienced prior to his death with members?
Bro, there's
of
a
the family?
real way easier way to answer that question, which is the corruption is the reason why John O'Keefe doesn't have justice right now. That's simple. They investigated the wrong person. They actively avoided investigating the right people, which cost John O'Keefe justice. I am holding the very institutions accountable right now for costing John O'Keefe justice. What the fuck you think I'm sitting here doing?
That lived in that house. And this all revolves around John. I can speak about my personal memories with John, and his family can speak to them as well. But I implore any one of John's family or friends to point to
Now, anybody who's actually like spent time in person around Karen, I'm telling you right now, like, she wants to tell this lady, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How about you shut the fuck up? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I promise you, there is a part of her that she is holding back with effort.
any moment that I wasn't loving or caring with John and his adopted niece and nephew. And
what was he like?
John was very easygoing and kind of shy, quiet. And he just liked to watch Boston sports. And
we totally blew this interview, so we're going to try to save face by making it about John and asking, what was he like? Bro, we're way past that right now.
drink a few beers, and
This is about
he was
exposing
funny.
corruption.
He had a really good sense of humor, and he was very
Right.
dutiful to his niece and nephew. I mean, he did everything. They were involved in anything they wanted to be involved in, and he tried incredibly hard with them and gave up his bachelorhood, changed his trajectory on the Boston Police Department to care for them. So he was incredibly sacrificial.
We know you're fighting the civil suit that's been filed by his family, but if you could talk to his family today, what would you say to him?
I don't have anything to say to his family. I interacted with them for several years. John and I had actually dated a long time ago when we were in our early 20s.
And everybody wants to villainize her for this response.
I was caring and I believe generous with them, with my time. And we did spend a lot of time together. And they experienced who I am, and they know who I am.
Beyond the civil suit, what comes next for Karen Reed? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with that. I saw somebody posted about it, but I didn't see anything wrong with that. I mean, why the fuck would she have anything to fucking say to the O'Keefe family? They're fucking suing her. You don't say anything to them, first of all. They're fucking suing her. So why would she say anything to them? And at this point, and this is why it makes sense to be logical and rational over anything else. It's important to be empathetic, but it's also important to be logical and rational about it. And rationality and logic dictate that the O'Keefes had ample opportunity to pay attention to the clear-cut evidence laid out before them, 2 murder trials, proving Karen Reed's innocence, and they're choosing to ignore it. That's their business. Everybody else's part has been done. She's not going to sit there and apologize to the O'Keefe family for something that she didn't do. That's retarded. If the O'Keefe family decides and makes the conscious effort to ignore all of the evidence that's been presented in 2 murder trials, countless pretrial hearings prior to each trial, and ignore all of this evidence, that's their problem. I can only feel bad for them as far as they had a loss and it's terrible, and I'm sorry that they had a loss and they suffered a loss. But as far as what's going on between them and Karen Reed, I don't feel sorry for them at all. They're all adults.
For the rest of your life.
I don't think we're done discussing law enforcement, corruption, what's wrong with Massachusetts, where else is it?
So let's say you win the civil suit. Then what comes next for you personally?
Personally, I'd like to keep talking about what I've experienced.
Boom. Like, you see what's going on here? This guy is actively trying to avoid the subject of corruption. She's trying to keep the light on the corruption. And yes, we are exposing corruption. This is the point of all this. This is the big one. This is the big opening. This is us storming the beaches of Normandy right here. Now we take over everything. But this is the troops are paratrooping, descending down onto enemy battleground. That is what she's trying to do here. And this guy keeps trying to avoid the subject of corruption. He's actively avoiding it. Look at how, what are you going to do after? Blah, blah, blah. He's trying to make it a fluff piece, and it's retarded.
I am, and they know who I am.
Beyond the civil suit, what comes next for Karen Reed?
Watch.
Within several years, I don't have anything to say to his family. I interacted with them for several years. John and I had actually dated a long time ago when we were in our early 20s, and I was caring and I believe generous with them, with my time, and we did spend a lot of time together. And they experienced who I am, and they know who I am.
Yeah, they know me.
Beyond the
So
civil suit, what comes next for Karen Reed? What are you going to do for the rest?
Now
of
watch this.
I don't think we're done discussing law enforcement, corruption, what's wrong with Massachusetts, where else is.
She's like, I'm going to dedicate my whole fucking existence to exposing corruption until shit changes in my fucking state. That's what I'm going to do. And this guy.
So let's say you win the civil suit. Then what comes next for you personally?
What comes next to you? Are you going to buy a boat? Oh, are you going to get a nice house? Are you going to decorate it yourself, or are you going to hire a decorator? Nobody gives a fuck about any of that shit, dude. Like, this is an example of mainstream media and how they have completely and totally abandoned the concept of journalism. That's why it's up to people like Turtle Boy, who these types of people who follow this kind of shit fucking wanna trash, say that he's what's wrong with everything. But no, because we have to count on people to independently, whether we like them or not, to independently report the fucking news, to actually do journalism. They went to fucking college for this shit, these people. Thank you, Boxer. Like, it's crazy. I mean, she's in a position to be able to do this. She's absolutely in a position right now to be able to make a lot of noise in Massachusetts. This lawsuit is huge in doing that because everyone's talking about it. Like this is national news right here. But this is what they did with it. And she handled it just fucking right because every time they tried to steer it into some bullshit fluff, she was like, no, I want to talk about the corruption.
Personally, I'd like to keep talking about what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I haven't really been free enough, especially with all these lawsuits, to say all that I've experienced. And I think it would be a waste for me to just disappear and go live on an island, although I would like to do that.
Well, we hope that you will come back. We have a lot more
Thank
that we
you,
want to
Goodman.
discuss with you as this case continues. Karen, Alan,
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go.
Okay.
Just
Shut up, dude. Jesus Christ. Is that Al Roker? God damn, bro. I haven't watched TV in so long. What am I looking at here? Oh, okay. Okay. Everyone stop what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing right now. Click on the link I'm dropping in chat right now and go give it a like. Very important. Okay, this is still fresh. I want to make sure that my man Billy Bush gets all of his views and gets all of his likes and all that stuff. So please take a moment and go do that. It would mean the world to me if you did before I start this. Well, you're not going to miss it now. So all you have to do, just make sure to go click on it and give it a like. And we're going to watch it. Okay?
New York this morning. Okay, special edition here of Hot Mics on a Friday. This morning, Karen Reed and her lawyer, Alan Jackson, went on the Today Show in New York. Alan flew all the way from L.A. They did about a 4-minute setup of Karen Reed's life, basically leaning upon 2 years ago, and then asked a few questions. I found the interview to be unresearched, ill-prepared, inhospitable. 2 days ago, Karen Reed's legal team files a lawsuit against Massachusetts State Police and Canton Police, and they list in the complaints, they show in discovery all of these texts between Michael Proctor, State Trooper, Sean Good of Sergeant in the Canton Police Department. They are vile, they are racist, they are bigoted, they are white supremacists, they are unreadable on television. They didn't pay any attention to that. Alan Jackson is with us right now. He's had to fly to Boston. That was a bit of a waste of time, was it not?
Well, Billy, I'm not going to pile on one way or the other.
You gotta love Billy Bush, bro.
We wanted to make sure.
Real
and
quick.
Look, you're entitled. You're good.
Before I let AJ, I gotta give Billy Bush his props. Hold on a second. I gotta refresh though. All right. I got to give Billy Bush his props because he just called it, man. He was just like, this fucking sucked. That was bullshit. And I totally fucking agree with my man, Billy Bush. So, Billy Bush. Give his video a like.
you're good at this. You've got a long, rich history on TV, and you know how to interview people, and you know what questions to ask, and you know how to do the research and all that kind of stuff. So I'll let the audience make their own decisions about what was and wasn't prepared, et cetera. Both hosts were very, very affable, very nice to us, very kind to us, both on and off camera. The thing that I wanted to get across in the interview was how broken a system the Massachusetts State Police is. The fact that the texts, as vile as they are just emblematic of a deeper cancer, a malignancy that is born deep inside the Massachusetts State Police, and quite frankly, all of law enforcement. It's not just the Massachusetts State Police. Proctor was texting with another buddy of his who's a Canton police officer who was also central in the investigation against Karen Reed. I mean, it doesn't stop. And so the reason for the lawsuit is twofold. Number one, under any kind of a civil justice system, money is what talks, right? That's the only thing that can change hands in a civil case. Nobody's going to jail.
I'll make myself smaller so you guys can
exact any punishment or conduct. In this case,
you ladies
that is richly deserved
enjoy
by the agencies that we've sued, is to deliver a monetary blow to them. And also, Karen is richly deserving to be made whole again. I mean, her life has basically been ruined financially, certainly, by this odyssey that she's had to go through, and somebody needs to pay for that. And if it's the Massachusetts State Police, so be it. If it's the Canton Police Department or the town of Canton, so be it. I didn't find the question about but this is just about money to be well thought out. Because I explained then, and I'll explain now, it's not just about money, because you cannot, and I said
First of all, that's such a cop-out, Alan, to say, could this be about money? You have lost your life. You're a financial analyst. You've got a nice job. You're working hard.
I love this. Billy Bush is pissed. Billy Bush is mad, bro. I like that shit.
Thought out. Because I explained then, and I'll explain now.
I love that
it's not
shit.
Just about
Get
money,
him, Billy.
You cannot, and I said
First of all, that's such a cop-out, Alan, to say, could this be about money? You have lost your life. You're a financial analyst. You've got a nice job. You're working hard.
Right.
Money should not even be. Money is obvious. Yes, it's about money, but that's an obvious thing.
Because it hurts them.
And you should have to pay. What other way is there to pay in a civil trial?
Right. There is no other way.
There is no other way. That's the entire thing. It's what it's about.
What are you going to do? Challenge him to a boxing match?
That's what I was saying, Billy. That is why I said to the host, to Craig as well. Look, this is not just about money. You can't just relegate this lawsuit and Karen Reed to just looking for a check. That's not true. That is absolutely not true, because what she's after, you cannot put that on a check.
Right.
What she's after is systemic change in the area in which she lives, the place she calls home, which is Massachusetts, the place that her parents have called home, her grandparents have called home, generations. Her grandfather was a police officer. How do you think that makes the Reed family feel to know how long or far the fall has been from the good cops that used to patrol those streets to what's happening now in this culture? Under this administration.
Your point is in this civil filing here against MSP and Canton PD, your point is there is no way that two people as deeply disgusting as these two are, rotten to the core, there's no way you don't know that's the type of character you have. At one point, Sean Good says, I can't wait to get to work and look up this chick. I'm going to look her up using, resources. There's no way. And then, Yuri Buchanan. I mean, don't for a second, supervising Michael Proctor.
Exactly.
This guy says, at no point was it, Michael conducted an investigation with high integrity and the most, come on.
The utmost integrity.
What kind of supervisor are you if you have no idea who this person is?
Right.
That's exactly the type of culture that we're talking about. So to your point, Billy, not only on the witness stand did I force him to have to answer a very uncomfortable question, was Michael Proctor's investigation, did Michael Proctor handle this investigation with honor and integrity? He didn't want to answer the question, wouldn't answer it, was trying to dodge me with some bullshit about This is my second language or third language or whatever, whatever his excuse was. He didn't want to answer the question. Finally, the judge said, answer the question. You got to answer that one. I didn't get a whole lot out of Judge Cannoni, but I got that. And finally, he said he handled the case with integrity. He wouldn't say honor, but he did say with integrity. And I just...
AJ is still salty as fuck over Cannoni, bro. He is still salty as fuck over Anthony Bev. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like, he's like, he just had to point that out. Like, he's like, I didn't get much out of Judge Cannoni, but at least I got that one thing. Like, because he knows goddamn well everybody's just gonna like, oh wow, look, AJ said something positive about Judge Cannoni. No. I just want to be clear. Like, I don't necessarily like Judge Cannoni, but she did give me that. Salty as fuck, bro. That shit, I love it, bro. I love it.
Stood there gobsmacked. Like, you're literally, about this. By the way, Yuri Buchanan knew about these text messages. Knew not all of them, but he knew about most of them. He knew about the bad ones. He knew about the things that made Michael Proctor, the issues that made Michael Proctor completely incompetent to investigate Karen Read because of the conflicts of interest, because of her outsider status, because of his bigotry and his racism, etc. Buchanan knew about it. And what you may have forgotten is in the midst, after the Massachusetts State Police damn well knew who Proctor was and what these text messages consisted of, because he sent some of them to his buddies on the Massachusetts State and his bosses on the MSP police force.
Yep.
In the midst of that, Michael Proctor was up for a review, a performance review, just a standard performance review that all government officials get. He got the highest review possible from Yuri Buchanan. The highest review possible from Yuri Buchanan.
Wow.
So that's an exclamation point at the end of a sentence that says, not only will we tolerate this kind of racism,
we
and
reward
bigotry
it,
and misogyny and anti-Semitism, not only are we going to tolerate it, as an institution,
we're going to promote it.
We're going to embrace it, and we're going
to decorate it. We're going to put stars on the badge for it.
Correct.
There's no way they don't know. Yuri Buchanan had such such disdain for you. He
get him
when you were cross-examining. I just remember him so well, just looking you like
leaning on the chair,
indignant, like how dare you ask me? It's almost like it's like he's like a bad Jack Nicholson and I sit on enemy lines. You have no idea. Like, I mean, he's some elevated. Well, I don't think in the Today Show interview this morning they even really brought up the texts, and I don't know if I missed it.
They didn't make. I thought that
the whole point is the text.
Yeah, I thought that could have been a bigger issue in the question and answer session that we had on the couch. Let Karen, let her defend this lawsuit, which is what we're here to do, and explain why she brought the lawsuit in the context of what's in the lawsuit, which are the text messages. It's the communications, and those communications are so. They're so evidentiary. In other words, they evidence a deep-seated corruption within the entire institution. That's what we need to be talking about, not whether or not a lawsuit like this, results in a payday. It's gonna. You bet your ass it's gonna. But that's not the reason that Karen brought this lawsuit.
This is how deep-rooted it is. Check it out. I just put this up. Actually, talking Michael Proctor here, lead detective, lead investigator. Actually, take your time. I saw a N-word was involved, so I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. She's a Jew. She definitely puts out, says Sean Good. Look at Michael Proctor. America sucks. Hitler was really onto something.
Wow.
And the effing U.S. had to step in and ruin it. Are you kidding me?
That's fucking treason.
Look
fucking
at this.
treason.
Here's another one. Proctor, he handled himself with the utmost professionalism and with strict integrity. There's Yuri Buchanan backing all this. Even Colonel Jeffrey Noble of MSP. I'm eyes wide open to a culture issue that I have concerns with as it relates to concerns with. You're rotten to the core.
Like,
and you see
let's
the old
get
one.
real, bro. Like, if somebody in his position would have said that shit about the Nazis and the U.S. during the Reagan administration, somebody would have fucking put that motherfucker down. Somebody would have put that motherfucker down. Like, there's no, like, that is crazy, 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 crazy talk. You cannot go, I mean, that's fucking treasonous, dude. That's crazy.
These words, the C word, the slut word, hopefully she kills herself. It
Like,
gets
you know
worse.
how
I'm actually putting
insulting
up
that
things
is? You know how insulting that is to not just a Jewish person, but a fucking, like, a World War II veteran. I mean, there's not many left, but I've known a couple as a kid, and God, you know how insulting that is? That is crazy.
things that I, can put up, but it gets deeper and
It
more
gets much
disgusting than that.
Did you see Colonel Noble's response yesterday? Did you come across that? He issued a formal response, sort of in response to the lawsuit, and what he said in that response, in no small part, was, "Look, this is not emblematic of the institution, the great institution of the Massachusetts State Police. It's disgusting." He said all the tropes that you would imagine. It's disgusting, and we don't endorse this, and blah blah blah. But it's not emblematic of who we are as an institution. Wrong, Colonel Noble. If that's what you think, if that is an honest opinion, then you need to pull your head out of the sand and start looking around.
Out of
and
your
start
ass.
An audit process from the top to the bottom, because it's not just one person or two people. This was not a one-off.
Where is the public statement? Where is the press release coming from the chief of the Canton PD and the colonel of the Massachusetts State Police saying immediately we will be conducting a full audit, because this is not the kind of culture that we as an institution want to represent to the rest of the world, much less to our own lovely state of Massachusetts? Where is this promise to the people that there is what clearly is necessary? Where's the promise to the people of a full audit of what's happening? Now, the Canton PD had an audit. How helpful would that be? Because the Canton PD had an audit, and guess what? That Canton PD audit came up all fucking fluffy and nice. So what good would a fucking audit do in reality? Because we saw what happened with the Canton PD audit, right? Because clearly there's a serious problem with the Canton PD. We know this. And maybe a year ago, there was an audit of the Canton PD and there was nothing. They found nothing. And Adam Deitch is, of course, calling for Morrissey to resign immediately. But in reality, this is what I would expect someone in his position to do. It's a good political move to immediately put out, I'm calling for his resignation. He knows he's not going to resign. But to be the first one to put that out there makes him look really good for voters. And it should, because you should go out and vote for Adam Deitch if you're in Norfolk County. Angie, thank you so much. Hey, Blair, proud forced member for 6 months. Right on. Glad you're here. Thank you.
This is, in fact, a cancer that percolates throughout the entirety of the culture, because the culture adopted it, the culture embraced it, and the culture encouraged it. And that's the disgusting part.
Please make sure, I'm going to continue to drop the link to this in the chat. Please make sure to stop and give it a like if you haven't already.
If Karen Read doesn't bring this lawsuit and doesn't shine a light on what's happening at the Massachusetts State Police and at the Canton Police Department, then where's the next victim going to come from? Because she was certainly victimized. Where's the next one going to come from?
Yeah, and I think, am I wrong that the Massachusetts State, they have a fund of lawsuits, things they have to settle with people, and it's actually astronomical in the state of Massachusetts compared to other states of how many times they actually have to pay out for misbehavior. I think their state police is well documented to have corruption issues.
This goes back generations, and it's not something that can be dealt with by firing one person. That ain't going to cut it. That is not going to cut it, Colonel Noble. You're nowhere close to getting to the root of the problem, which is it's a culture problem. You encourage through training, etc. You're the one that trained, you knew, and you promoted Michael Proctor. That person represented, he was the ambassador. He is an ambassador of the Massachusetts State Police writ large. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's what we're going to expose. That's what we have exposed through this lawsuit. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. I guarantee you, Billy. There's more to come.
What else are you going to accomplish in this lawsuit as compared to the others that are all out there? I mean, we have.
Well, this one's against the agencies. This one is specifically against the agencies. None of the other ones are against the agencies.
Are we going to bring up anything like what happened in that garage and what happened to the back of the head? None of that. Well, this is going to be built upon these texts and basically their corruption. But are we going to go into what actually happened? Because, of course, you have a theory there.
Only insofar as the other side, the opposite side, our adversaries may want to simply throw darts, right? I mean, that's the desperation move. Michael Proctor's lawyer came out, I think yesterday, and issued a statement. And he said, well, this is just a distraction. Karen Reed's just trying to distract from the fact that she hit somebody with her car. She hit John O'Keefe with her car. The reality is, sir, not one, two juries have sat in judgment of that evidence and have determined that ain't true. It's just not true. She was not guilty of ever striking John O'Keefe with her car because John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. There was no collision. You've heard that before. That doesn't change with these lawsuits. So they can try all the distraction moves they want to because that's all they've got. What the hell else is Michael Proctor's lawyer going to say? I mean,
he's right. He's right. And I hope I never see the day where AJ calls me sir.
It's paid to try to defend the indefensible. So he's going to, point fingers at others, and he's going to point fingers at us
Mrs.
and
Bucket.
and whatever. That is not going to be the sum and substance of this
Stephanie.
lawsuit. What this lawsuit's going to be about, what this lawsuit is about, is accountability.
Thank you, Kim's Ladybug.
You folks, you people who wear the badge and wear the gun and are imbued with the ultimate power. The ultimate power that a society gives another human being, and that is the power to take away someone's liberty. You folks are going to be held accountable for how you wield that power. And Michael Proctor and Sean Good are the prime examples. They are the evidence of how that power is misappropriated and misused.
Yeah,
Facts.
and covered for and protected, which
correct, that's a huge thing. That's exactly right, Billy. I should focus on that because that's exactly what's happened. It's not just tolerated; they cover for each other.
Yeah,
the bosses cover for each other. You're a Buchanan, Brian Tully. Are you kidding? You're telling me these folks didn't know how?
Let's get real.
Worth of text messages or 10-year text messages that are at least 10 years old. They go back 10 years. God knows what's even what's in his phones from years beyond that. But the ones that we have are emblematic of a deep-seated corruption that you can't hide. You just don't switch it off when you
don't get to play it off and dress it up
to go to work that day. People that hired him, knew him and promoted him, or them, damn well knew what kind of people they were promoting. And they gave him the badge, gave him the gun, and gave him the authority. And Karen Reed is the victim of that kind of misuse of the authority that they were given.
They have questions to answer, and this has been, this is why you do podcasts and not network morning shows. I'm sorry to say it. They don't get into this stuff. They don't research. They spend no time on it.
Well, you certainly know the case, Billy. You certainly know the case. I appreciate it.
And well, look, we've got outstanding stuff. The comment section here is ablaze over now what has to be settled with Jen McCabe. And
sorry to put AJ out there like that, but to translate what AJ just said, you certainly know the case, Billy. That's him nicely putting the Today Show didn't know the case. They did no actual research whatsoever. They asked bullshit, fluffy questions that fucking required absolutely no knowledge of what was actually important here. And nobody gave a fuck about what they were asking about.
Brian Higgins and the Alberts. Colin Albert just enlisted in the military. He's going off to the Army in a week or so. The chat section needs to know, has he been deposed yet?
Colin?
Yes.
The answer is no. He has not been deposed yet. There was some shenanigans that were played around what was supposed to be a deposition that was scheduled, rescheduled, et cetera. And the other side has played a few games, but no, his actual court-ordered, subpoenaed deposition has not been taken.
Nope.
Well, I mean, he's got 6 days before he goes to the military. Can you guys?
That doesn't going into the military does not absolve you of.
Yeah, exactly. Crusty panties. Monique, thank you for the PayPal. Appreciate it.
Of the responsibility of showing up for a deposition when you're duly going into the military does not absolve you of the responsibility of showing up for a deposition when you're duly subpoenaed, and he will be.
So he'll have to come back from military duty. Does that take precedence from serving? Because many people might think of serving in the military to get out of that. Or
what if he's in Gaza? Like, is he still gonna have to get deposed?
Right. Well, a court order takes precedence over everything. So it's yet to be seen who shows up when and where, but Colin Albert's not going to get out of the responsibility of answering questions any more than anybody else is. We're not going to sit back and say, oh, well, you just joined the Army or the Navy or whatever it is, that whatever branch you joined.
Yep.
And
you're right,
that
Robin.
absolves you of the responsibility of answering tough questions, because everybody
Love you
involved
too,
in this
Irish.
is going
Thank
to
you.
answer some tough questions.
where does this fit in the order of events? Because you've got the civil case coming from the O'Keefe family. You've got the McAlberts filing theirs, and then you've got this.
Yes,
and
that's a joke. That's a joke.
It's a joke. I can't believe the fact that, I mean, if you're just a normal person
This is
paying
fucking
attention,
great.
The fact that they filed is brazen. It's unbelievable.
Well, certainly trying to drag Karen into something like that it's brazen, and it's there's no foundation in the law for it. So that will be dealt with swiftly.
Do you know which comes first? What are we going to be seeing first?
Well, every case has its own arc of procedure. So it's not like one takes precedence over the other. They're all being litigated at the same time, sort of on parallel tracks, but at different speeds, depending upon what the judge prioritizes.
Alan, question from Kyle Sharkey. Do you think Michael Proctor
Kyle
will cancel
Sharkey
late Sunday evening before his deposition on Monday?
That's a good question. That's
deposition on Monday.
Hold on.
Kansas.
I need to hear that question again. But first, Ms. V, USFC just gifted 5 memberships. I got to refresh this again, but thank you so much, USFC.
Alan, question from Kyle Sharkey. Do you think Michael Proctor will cancel late Sunday evening before his deposition on Monday?
That's a good question. There's an over-under about that exact question. Look, I'm here and I'm ready. So I'm in Boston right now. So we'll see.
Are you there to do it?
Yeah.
So you're there for the weekend.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're there to do him yourself on Monday.
Correct.
Billy's all like, so you're in Boston all weekend, so no pickleball. We're not doing pickleball this weekend, then, is what you're saying. Okay, just Steve, jot that down. No pickleball with AJ all weekend.
Boy, that will be a nice reunion.
Won't it, though?
He will not like seeing your face.
Yeah,
walk
we've got questions. The questions haven't stopped, and we're pressing forward. We're going to get answers. We will
Is there
get
any
answers.
way he can get out of it?
Not legally, not procedurally. I can't. This is a civil lawsuit, so I can't go hogtie the guy and make him sit down and answer questions. It doesn't. The system doesn't work that way. But there is a judge that everybody's got to answer to. So
He probably would if he could.
What happens? We'll see.
Will Kelly Dever be deposed?
Kelly Dever be deposed. Let's come back to that in a second. But oh my God, can't do the super chat dance because I don't want to refresh. But Jen Beam, thank you so much. I'm going to the Beantown pub tomorrow to have a cold Sam Adams while looking at a cold Sam Adams dump Maura Healy. Love you, Will. Love you, Jen Beam. Enjoy your Sam Adams.
I can't imagine a circumstance in which she's not deposed. I cannot imagine it's a double negative, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Kelly Dever's going to have to answer questions as well.
Where is Karen right now? Did she fly back with you to Boston?
She's in Boston. Not sure exactly where she's at, but she's in Boston. We finished up with what we needed to do in New York, and me and Charles and Karen all went to the airport together and went our separate ways to catch our respective flights. But yeah.
She must have been, I have to say, taken back. I could see it in her eyes.
I talked to her about it. You mean about the interview?
I thought let me show you this, just the beginning of this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The way she handled this.
To know that when you walk down the street, there are lots of people who look at Karen Reed and who think, oh,
it's the stupidest question ever.
Boyfriend who was a cop. How do you go through life knowing that there are lots of people who, despite what the jury said, still think you did it?
There aren't, bro.
You got away with it.
I've not had any evidence that there's lots of people who feel that way. I mean, I have lived more low key in the last year. I've just struggled to not have the adrenaline that I had during trial. But I have no interactions, no matter where I go. The grocery store, a restaurant, Newbury Street in Boston, any hotel or restaurant I eat at. I don't pay for meals. I get discounts everywhere. My parents get help taking groceries. I don't have interactions. I have not seen lots of people. I haven't seen one. The support isn't relegated to what you saw at the courthouse. It's throughout.
Okay, and then he says, like, did you see the internet? I mean, look, I'm all for objective journalism. I'm all for devil's advocate. But this is unresearched. It's almost like people are half and half.
And it's not. It's nowhere close.
It's not even close. So it's like, what you should say is,
go ahead.
The majority of people support you, but for those who, are in the comment section and don't, do you have anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, and you know what her answer would be? If that were the question, if that was the question that was posed, her answer is, yeah, I've got something to say. Go watch the two trials. It's there for the taking. Watch trial 1, watch trial 2, and then come back and let's have a discussion. There's no way that you can watch those trials and come back and say, oh, I think she got away with something. She didn't do it. The evidence has all been presented and propounded in a light most favorable to the prosecution.
It's just that simple.
But two juries
it's just that
she
simple.
didn't do this. She is not
like, and Billy is you can tell Billy's a little salty, and for good reason. Billy's a little salty and for good reason. Because if I'm Billy, I'm like, dude, they fucking canceled me over some fucking bullshit. And I'm out here digging and clawing and scratching my way on my own independently. Like, and these fuckers are who are counted on as journalists. And they couldn't even bother to do a little bit of research. I love that he fucking called that out. That was some Turtle Boy shit right there. Was to fucking call that shit out and be like, dude, like, how hard is it to do a little fucking research before you have someone like Karen Reed and Alan Jackson on to fucking ask about this stuff? And how dare you ask something so uninformed? Nobody fucking thinks that nobody worth their own fucking piss thinks that Karen Reed is guilty. Nobody ever trashes Karen Reed on the street because they all know that she's innocent. She's a local hero.
Guilty. It's not just she was found not guilty. She is innocent.
Right.
She never, that car did not hit and kill John O'Keefe. It's as simple as that. Every one of the credible experts said so. Every single one, both from the prosecution side and the defense side.
Do you have a
piss,
good sense
Bluefy.
or confidence that this will end with total vindication, where it is unequivocally understood who killed John O'Keefe? And
That's
who
our hope. That's our
did
hope.
not?
That is exactly.
All right. Coco sent a Venmo, $10, says, have a drink on me if you go back to the Baker meetup. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Exactly our hope, Billy, that it does. I don't think we need to name the person that's responsible for killing John O'Keefe to vindicate Karen. Karen's already been vindicated. She is vindicated. That is in the history books. She didn't do this. The bigger question is, what corners did Michael Proctor cut? What corners did Sean Good cut? What corners did Yuri Buchanan cut and cut in order to hide the fact of who actually killed John O'Keefe? That's the bigger question. If we never find out, it's their fault. And that is the best evidence
exactly
of the corruption that is attendant to the Massachusetts State Police and law enforcement in Massachusetts writ large.
I'm sure you
tragedy.
That's
you saw
the tragedy.
on Proctor's phone the day after John O'Keefe died. The next day, Kevin Albert, who's a detective in the Canton Police Department, Kevin Albert calls him to discuss the investigation.
Yeah, what do you think that was about?
Right.
Right. I mean, you can imagine exactly what that was
about. The guy, the lead investigator, who never went into the home.
Right.
Never went into the home to look around there. I mean, you don't go into the home of dead guys on my lawn. I assume the cops are coming in. I'm going to make them some coffee. You know, absolutely, there's things to discuss.
Thanks for taking care of my brother.
To add the pressure. It's so stinky and so obvious and so brazen for a countersuit. It's unbelievable. Oh, Peggy O'Keefe, John's mother. Poor blessed woman. You know who Karen is. You may not like everything about her, but Jesus Christ, there's no way that you can keep buying this bullshit.
That's one of the question marks that I sort of carry around with me in the back of my head all the time, is how can the O'Keefes, they're not, I don't suspect they're stupid people at all. I think they're probably smart folks. It's just the emotion has taken over them, and they so desperately needed someone to point at. And the Michael Proctors of the world, the Sean Goods of the world, the Massachusetts State Police, they were not going to give them the right suspect. So they just picked the girl, because that's who Michael Proctor picked. That's who Sean Good picked. They just picked the girl. And now it's so, they're so invested. The family is so invested in that story, that narrative. They can't see their way clear to clear away that fog or the ink in the water, to actually see the truth. She didn't do it. So what you should be doing, the O'Keefe family, is siding with us, to try to find out who did, to try to do something for John, to try to close the loop so that his death is not completely in vain and someone gets away with it. Because someone has, up to this point, gotten away with it. It's not Karen, but someone else has, and that's a shame.
We'll never know. We'll never know, won't we?
Maybe we won't. We're trying to find the truth every single day with every filing and every motion and every deposition. We're trying to peel the onion back as far as we possibly can. We're looking around every corner and around under every rock, and we'll continue looking. We've done a pretty darn good job of exposing what actually happened. We just have to take it further, and we're going to.
That's it.
Alan, you're a great man. I know you're exhausted, and you've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. I hope there's a beautiful martini for you over the weekend, but not Sunday, because I need you sharp as a tack on Monday when you depose Michael Proctor.
There you go. Yeah.
And we'll be Tell Karen we said hello. Sorry
will.
about that.
Ooh, I can't wait for that shit.
You know, that interview this morning, but you know, when she's ready, right here.
We got you, Billy. Thank you as always. Thank you, and thanks for doing the research, and thanks for being a true professional. We appreciate coming on just because it's always an informative interview for your audience.
Alan Jackson's interview with the Today Show airs. It's dog shit. Not Alan Jackson or Karen Reed's fault. It's Today Show's fault. It's dog shit. Immediately, he goes on Billy Bush and praises Billy Bush for doing exactly what Today Show did not do. It's just fucking fantastic. I love AJ. Passive aggressive as fuck.
That's what the job is all about. That's what this should be all about.
Petty as fuck.
Alan Jackson right there. We appreciate you.
Nice to see you.
Bye. Well, I mean, it's just
way to go, Billy. Well done, sir.
I don't know where to. I gotta stack my outrage. I gotta, prioritize here. The Today Show, it's a big machine, and it can't do. It's just why the mainstream is sort of struggling, because it can't. You're basically doing, it's Cliff's Notes. It's like USA Today headlines for each story. You can't get in to anything.
Totally.
And that's what we do here. But I don't know. I felt the interview this morning was also not just uninformed and unresearched and inhospitable. I mean, that I thought was, put her on invite her all the way down and put her into a weird position that doesn't even apply. There isn't a poll available that says it's 50-50 in the state of Massachusetts. The people in Massachusetts are pretty darn smart. They know exactly what's going on in their police departments, in the MSP. It's not new. It's absolutely vile. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, Alan Jackson, right there. We'll post this up. Share it. Please hit like, subscribe, notification bell, all of that. Have a fantastic weekend.
Share it.
And we'll see you on Monday on Hot Mics. Bye-bye.
Well done, Billy. Good job, buddy. Now, it's very interesting because Turtle Boy gets a lot of shit for doing what Billy just did. And maybe now it's a little easier to understand Turtle Boy's perspective. Turtle Boy, he feels like he should get certain interviews for certain reasons, and those reasons are apparent. And Billy just expressed the same reasons for the most part when Turtle Boy has gotten upset, because he knows that person who is going to interview someone isn't going to ask hard-hitting questions. They're not going to ask questions that are going to give the person an opportunity to inform the public properly of what the public needs to be informed of. And Billy was frustrated to see this. And I don't blame him one bit. I actually completely 100% agree with him. And this is why Aiden has gotten upset in the past with certain people and been like, what the fuck? Why aren't you asking this? Why aren't you asking that? It's not about, why them, not me. It's about, I know I could have done a better fucking job. I know that I would have asked the kind of questions that the public needed to hear. That the public wanted answers to. So yeah, man, big shout out to Billy Bush, dude, for fucking kicking ass with AJ. Big shout out to AJ too for not holding back, man. You gotta love AJ, dude. And the funny thing is that is AJ holding back. That is AJ holding back. Like, that's what's funny is the two of them are homies. You know what I mean? Like, Billy Bush and AJ, they're homies. They hang out, right? And so I'm sure over drinks, the conversation gets, like, and AJ's pretty straightforward too. I mean, the stuff that you see him say is stuff, it's just a little bit more polished, without the F-bombs, That's it. When you talk to AJ in private about this stuff, he's like, it's the same shit. My point being is that this is not an act. This is not rehearsed. This is exactly the problem that they have. And this is exactly how they honestly feel about it. And if you talk to AJ behind the scenes, he's going to tell you the same things he just told Billy Bush on his show, except with more F-bombs. That's it. Because he's genuinely passionate about this. And oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Karen, another Karen, for the PayPal, $50 PayPal, just because, and have a great weekend. Wow, that's really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Proctor's getting deposed by Alan Jackson on Monday. Dude, I mean, hold on. Let me refresh. Let me refresh here real quick. I don't know why StreamYard's acting like this. But here's sweet baby Jesus. For at least audio very, very, very soon, so we can go over it and listen to Alan Jackson completely and totally roast Michael Proctor's ass. Amen. Now, yeah, I don't know where and when on Monday. I have no idea. But I mean, he's in Boston for it. Like, Alan just told Billy Bush that he's in Boston for this deposition. So he's in Boston through the weekend. And Monday's going to be the deposition, and to not drink too many martinis because he wants him sharp. Billy wants AJ sharp for the deposition on Monday. Yeah, that's all I wanted to go over today. If anybody thinks they can make a drive within within the next 4 hours, come meet up with me and Broken Baker and the expert and Valhalla Awaits and a bunch of other great people, and the other Mary B will be there too. I think got to meet her the other night. It was awesome. So if you guys can make it, make it. Guys, I really appreciate you guys. I really had a great time hanging out with you guys in the middle of the day. Maybe I'll do a late night stream. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling when I come back from whatever this thing is tonight. I don't even know what to expect of it. I'm just hoping that it's going to be a good time, and I think it will be. But anyways, guys, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Remember, it only takes a second to stay safe, and being retarded has never stopped anybody from being a good neighbor, unless, of course, you're a McAlbert. Guys, I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.
Watch out!
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.